heart attack. Fast, fatal, hard impact. Past painful scars, in fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked, attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new submerged juice. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember you're discreet now, get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do begin, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, quite a number of things have happened. We had Deku, Ochako, and Mizuki. These three have gotten into UA and have been undercover for quite a few weeks. Now, currently today is the day of the USJ, and Deku, he actually is kind of surprised by a few things. Whenever they were at lunch yesterday, Deku asked Denji about his strange quirk, his strength augmentation ability. He didn't really know how to piece this together. He didn't really know how to look at him. His quirk is odd, because it isn't one ability, and Deku knows that. And right now there's actually somebody else, Deku, he does find to be very strange. Ayama. Whenever Deku copied Ayama's quirk, he felt something different. He's copied a lot of powers, and being in prolonged contact, he knows whenever something doesn't feel right. He knows that feeling, and he didn't get the same feel from Ayama. His power felt different when he copied it. His hand, it did, well, spark, but it felt like the spark was weaker. It felt like the power was moving around in Ayama. It wasn't just settled down. I mean, it's hard to explain it. It felt like the power was going to burst out of him almost. And Deku, he was surprised. Ayama, his body, isn't made for his quirk. Ayama has said that before, and from what Deku has seen, that does seem to be the case. But it doesn't make sense. Even if people, they don't have the proper body for their quirk, they're not supposed to have reactions the way he did. Now, with that being said, we do currently have Deku, who does sit there on his phone, scrolling through some news articles, as right now there actually is Mizuki next to him. Her still holding on to Deku's arm, asking if he has found anything. No, I haven't. Although, I heard there was an incident yesterday. You did? Yeah. Heroes are looking into it, and it was supposed to be very big. I don't know. What was it? That's the thing. I think they're trying to cover it up. All I know is something happened and heroes were called to the committee. It involves the committee? Yeah. Deku's the one turning towards her and whispering to her into her ear, it does seem to be a lot more serious. Right now, if it does involve the committee, then that means that somebody might have gotten hurt. And they might suspect it as being them probably even attacking, or it could just be a random villain incident. Or maybe it could be something bigger, something larger. Right now, however, they need to lay low. They've been good here, and so far, they'll be fine. However, he does have his own concern. Now, Mizuki, she does understand. And right now, their actions where Mina does want to turn and see Deku and Mizuki, so leaning in close to each other and talking. And right now, Mina, she actually is going to stare. Her waiting to see what the two will do. And right now, after Deku, he does someone going to pull backwards, Mizuki does start to whisper into Deku's ear. Her trying to at least ask a few other questions, and Deku, he does someone going to either nod or shake his head no. Now, Mina finally does go to speak up. What are the two talking about back there? Both the two want jumping and looking over towards Mina. And Mizuki, her grip does want tighten on Deku's arm. And Deku, he does look up towards Mina, and Mina, she does want smile. She's seen those two and how they act. I mean, it's quite clear they're dating. However, does Ochako know? Well, this will be quite interesting. Now, Mina does get to voice something. Her asking Ochako how she does feel about the class. And Ochako, she does just want to sit there before looking around at everybody. And a lot of people, they do actually look towards her. Before Mr. Aizawa does tell Mina that she needs to sit down because they're almost to the USJ. Now, they all would arrive. And right after they do, Uraka, or Ochako, she does see the Pro Hero 13. And Deku, he actually stared at them. He's heard of their abilities before. The Hero Safety Committee, they have trouble covering things up. And they thought about having Deku approach 13. But there's an issue. If Deku approaches 13, trying to steal their quirk, she's wearing an entire suit. Trying to catch her off guard is not really in the equation. Trying to do that would practically be impossible in the scenario. But then there's also the risk. No one really knows what happens to matter that is absorbed by her, that goes into the black hole she creates. Is it destroyed? Is it sent out into space? Is it just crushed in an actual black hole? I mean, as far as they know, that stuff, it doesn't exist anymore. And that's the end of it. Bringing actual scientific logic into her quirk in particular, I mean, it's dangerous. Because the effects of it, the ramifications of her ability, no one knows exactly how that quirk works inside of her own body. And she is a rescue hero. That shows exactly how she's been limiting herself. Now, Deku he does think, though, the risk to reward factor for stealing that quirk, having it on his side. Deku walking into the USJ, and many people, they're looking around. And right now Deku he does look down the staircase. Today there's going to be a lot happening, but there's also an issue. All Might isn't here. Where is that damn hero? Okay, today should have been a chance though. A day to actually see the man and talk to him. Maybe just pull him aside for a minute to talk because he has questions. I mean, the hero, he has to be a teacher. And the guy's not even here half the time. Where the hell is that damn pro? That made what Deku just think. And right now while he's looking down, he does look at and see something very... What? Him staring down. As right now a portal does open up, and villains are walking out of it. And right now Deku, he does get somewhat turn, telling Mr. Aizawa that there's something going on over here. Now, Aizawa actually is going to turn and walk over, and Deku does look down. UA is providing them with test villains? Is that why All Might's not here? Okay, so an unexpected scenario. But it does fit with Aizawa's class teaching. His methods. Try to predict the unpredictable. This makes sense. They're not here to rescue people, they're here to get training in. I mean, that makes sense, but all these heroes, their quirks. Wait a minute. Now, Deku, he does try to think. Offensive, defensive, armor. These people, they don't... There's no face he recognizes here. Now, Aizawa does walk up, and the moment Deku does go to turn his head to see Aizawa, he does make direct eye contact with him. Aizawa telling him, those are not pros. And Deku does finish his statement. They're villains, aren't they? Aizawa is staring directly into Deku's eyes, which immediately go from a bit softer with excitement to hardened, and with the intent to kill. Now, Aizawa stares directly into Deku's eyes, telling him, right now he needs to calm down. Whatever the hell he has going through his mind, stop it. And Deku, he actually does hear Aizawa tell him. He needs to get, help. Right now he needs to fly out of here and go get All Might. Now, there actually is Shigaraki, who does go a jerky step forwards and start announcing to the pros what they're here for. Now, whenever Shigaraki he does see Eraserhead run in to fight, he actually is annoyed. They expected All Might, and right now, they're annoyed. Now, Deku immediately does go to directly bring his hands down. Him getting ready as he does turn his body into platinum. And the moment he does, he actually has tendrils shoot out of his back, as right now Deku does someone go to enlarge his fist. him digging them into the ground, and going to Doki pull himself backwards. As a lot of people do watch Deku send himself flying Doki down the stairs and smashing into the crowd of villains. As multiple villains, they do actually start to rush towards Deku. Deku has armor that is almost impenetrable. And right now, many of the villains, they're watching. As you know, Aizawa does look at Deku. Deku right now, he's swinging his arms around, smashing through multiple villains and taking them down. And right now, Deku, he's acting different. The kid's tactful. He holds back. But right after watching a villain get sent flying through the air and smashing into something, the villain, they're clutching their head. And Deku, he immediately does get someone walk over and step down onto the villain's neck, bringing his hand outwards and telling the villain to get the fuck out of here. As his own Doki turn and smash into the wall, and tell them, if they want to die, then stay there. He'll deal with them in a minute. Him pulling his foot directly off the villain's throat, and the villain clutching at their throat, trying to get air. As Deku currently, he's copying abilities left and right. And many people, they're starting to notice something. Mizuki, she did run down there to get into the battle, and so did Ochako. Right now, all she's doing is running in and tapping on the villains. That's all she's doing. And then they're floating upwards into the air. If the glass breaks, then they'll be sent flying high. But that's not a possibility right now, is it? And then there's the fact that the roof, if they come smashing down from that height, they're going to get gravely injured. And right now, they're actually Shigaraki, who does not only summon the Nomu, he does announce to Kirigiri to portal away some of these people. Now, right now Deku, after he does hear the portal villain try and do this, he does immediately jump upwards into the air, him reaching out and directly grabbing Aizawa, him turning his body off as he does go flying upwards into the air and hold the man. Aizawa actually somewhat wrapping his scarf around Deku's arm. And right now he does hang there, trying to ask Deku exactly what the hell is he doing. I'm trying to take down the villains. Izuku, what is wrong with you? What's wrong with me? Deku's staring at Aizawa. And Aizawa, he immediately does tell him, whatever vendetta Deku has against villains, he needs to calm down. And right now, he's more worried about what's happening down there. Deku looking down and seeing that Mizuki and Ochako, they're gone. And right now the Nomu is ordered to attack the giant flying creature. Now, the Nomu does immediately go rushing in. And right now Aizawa, he does bring his hands up and turn off the Nomu's abilities. However, Deku, he immediately brings his right hand up and shrink it. Aizawa actually falling towards the ground, as right now he does try and steady himself back out, and get ready to land. As Deku, he is immediately grabbed on by the Nomu, and the Nomu immediately does charge him downwards into the ground. And right now Aizawa, he's alarmed. As Deku, him and the Nomu make physical contact. Now, Aizawa, he actually is worried, as Shigaraki does start to boast that he really does underestimate the villains, doesn't he? He thought a few lucky strikes from skilled students could do it, right? But society, it doesn't really work that way. Society works on power. His student will be taken by his master, and that quirk will be his. Now, right now the Nomu does get sent flying backwards and away. As right now the Nomu, it actually just smashed into the ground before going to get back up. As right now on its body is acid and damage. Now, Deku immediately does come stepping forwards. As right now there actually is where Deku, part of his arm that has been torn, and, well, part of his body that looks like it was ripped, his entire top portion of his torso. He does come walking out as it starts to regenerate fast. And Deku, he does actually look up towards Shigaraki. And Aizawa, he does look at Deku confused. He's regenerating. Now, Aizawa immediately knows something is off, as Deku does look towards Shigaraki. Multiple quirks. Interesting. Gotta say though, the regeneration, I do appreciate it. What the hell? Now, Deku he does look to Shigaraki, informing him he really doesn't know what he's dealing with, does he? Deku immediately disappearing from view. And right now Deku he just stand there, holding on to Shigaraki by his throat and telling him. As Shigaraki does try to bring up his right hand, Shigaraki grab onto Deku. Deku grabbing onto his, as Shigaraki he does scream out in pain, feeling his own quirk. And Deku he actually doesn't going to let up one of his fingers, breaking Shigaraki's arm, as Shigaraki does bring his other arm directly down onto Deku's other shoulder. All 5 fingers beginning to decay Deku's arm. And Deku his body, it is regenerating just as fast as it is being destroyed. And Shigaraki he actually isn't going to bring his hands up to try and grab onto Deku's hand, telling him to let go of him. Now, Deku is holding to Shigaraki, his arm, while being destroyed as it's regenerating. And Deku does tell him. He really doesn't understand, does he? What are you doing? You're just a kid. I'm just a kid. No, I'm not. Now, Mr. Villain, how about we kill you? Then I handle the rest of your friends. You've already compromised my plan. Your plan? Yes. My plan to kill the Hero Committee. My plan to try and get rid of the corruption pros have. Wait! Deku looking up to Shigaraki. As Shigaraki he does try to tell him. They want to restructure society. They have the same goals. And Deku, he actually tells Shigaraki. Sure they do. Now, Deku is someone going to cock back his hand, telling Shigaraki that he'll make sure he achieves his. However, he's a villain. Villains don't deserve mercy, and he won't give him any. Now, as Deku does pull back his hand, he actually going to throw it out forwards, a portal opening directly in between Deku and Shigaraki, cutting off Deku's arms. And Deku, he actually is going to pull backwards, screaming out in pain at that. Now, right now a few people would come running into the battlefield, and they immediately see Deku staying there with both of his arms up to his forearms, missing and screaming out in pain. However, they actually watch. Bone reconstructs, then the flesh, and then, well, blood, and then skin. Now, Deku does currently stand there. As right now, Deku, he does feel these immense powers. He's taken on over 50 powers at the same time, within this short period of time. And he knows that Nomu, his abilities, they're what he needs. They're amazing. He feels amazing right now. Now, Deku just wants to laugh. And right now, Shigaraki, he is in fear. Deku just used his decay quirk. And, well, he has the abilities of a Nomu? That does not make sense. Now, the Nomu just come rushing towards Deku. And many people that you watch, Deku immediately rushing towards the Nomu with the same amount of speed and force. The two actually colliding fists as the moment they do, the entire USJ goes silent. And then a shockwave is formed. The shockwave blasting the USJ with immense power. And the roof immediately does collapse. And right now Mizuki and Ochako, they do try to get for cover. Get to someplace safe because whatever the hell is about to happen, it is going to shake the entire building. And right now there actually is Deku, who does Godoroki bring his hand upwards, which is covered in flames, smashing into the Nomu's gut. As the Nomu, it absorbs the shock, and Deku does Godoroki bring up another fist, smashing into the Nomu as his eyes are glowing red. And the Nomu, it actually is blasted backwards by this attack. It skinning its claws into the ground and rushing back forwards towards Deku. And Deku immediately does go to bring up his right hand, telling the Nomu, he's a villain, he's a monster. And right now, he wins. Now, Deku's arm turns into a rifle, and Deku immediately blasts the Nomu into the brain. As the shot does ring out, many people do currently stand there. And right now, there is actually Deku. Deku does stand there. Him with the abilities of the Nomu and most of the League of Villains. And right now, All Might, he does come in. Him blasting into the door and rushing in with the pro heroes. Many pro heroes. Now, Deku does stand there with a rifle for an arm and, well, a dead Nomu directly in front of him. Aizawa, he does stand there confused. And right now, Deku, he actually is going to turn and go to walk back towards the stairs. However, whenever All Might does rush directly in front of Deku, Deku, he immediately reacts. Him throwing up his fist as All Might catches Deku's punch, and Deku does feel one for all. The moment Deku and All Might, they connected and touched, Deku felt one for all immediately enhance his powers. And All Might, he felt strange. Lightning began to course around his own body. And All Might, he could feel it. One for all is reacting with something within inside this boy. And, well, it doesn't like it. The feeling, he's only ever felt it another time. All for one. All Might immediately blasting Deku back with another punch. And after Deku is sent flying backwards, he actually has Gotoki bring his hand downwards and dig into the ground. Now, Deku, he does pant for air. As All Might does watch his blood pours out of Deku's mouth, before Deku, he actually has Gotoki spit out something, and then go to start and stand back up. Now, a lot of people are currently staring. Izuku, no, he just, now, they're gonna stand there, and go to look directly towards the pros. As right now, Aizawa, he's concerned. Deku, well, in their brief little skirmish, they stomped through villains. Deku, he attacked and he almost killed villains. And right now, what he's showing off, these abilities, these powers, they're not his own. And right now, Deku, he does stand there. The strange smile on his face, the emotion, the bloodlust Aizawa feels off of him, along with many of the pros. Right now, it's not possible. Now, Deku does currently stand there. And right now, Deku, he actually literally bring his hands up to his head. Something doesn't feel right. Something inside of him, it doesn't feel right. And right now, Deku, he actually is going to double in size. Him going to bring his hands downwards towards his gut, as wings do sprout from his back. And many people do watch. As right now, Deku, he's mutating rapidly. And Deku, he does go to look up towards the pros. Now, Deku does stand there mutated. Crystals and bones popping from his body. Bat-like wings. And 4 arms. One that looks smaller. And one that's on fire. One made of crystal and, well, his eyes. He has 4 of them and they're all glowing red. And Deku does currently stand there. As right now, All Might, he does actually take up a bit more of a defensive position, shouting at him to stop, to turn himself in, and that whatever the hell he just tried to do, he is not going to allow it. Right now, he needs to turn himself in and give up all for one. Now, many people do hear him, and Deku does stare at All Might. Him looking down at his hands. All 4 of them. He doesn't understand. Him looking up at All Might. And right now to Deku, All Might, he's in slow motion. He's moving slow. No, wait. He's moving fast. Deku looking around. And now Deku does going to turn one of his large eyes directly up towards the sky. There's somebody falling. And they're almost... No. What happened to him? Now, Deku doesn't want to shout out. Him stepping forwards. What did he do to him? Now, many people are watching this. And right now, All Might, he does stand there as Mizuki does come running forwards. Her immediately running in front of All Might and telling him, stop. You need to get out of the way. This is very dangerous. Whatever is going on, your friend, he's involved with All for One. No, who? All Might, please, listen to me. Him, Doki stepping forwards. As she's going to Doki command him, stop. Now, All Might does freeze. And right now many pros, they do watch this. As Eraserhead does look directly over towards Deku and immediately try to erase Deku's quirk. However, Deku, he does look towards Eraserhead, and the man is staring at Deku surprised. Deku's quirk is he can't erase it. And Deku, he's trying to actually reconvert his body back, try and shift it back, but it's not working. His powers, they don't feel right. He's losing control of all of them. Now, everybody who watched Deku, Deku burst into flames before turning into a pillar of ice. And Deku's limbs, they almost seem like they're trying to shift. And then there's action for Deku. He does look around. And many people, they're staring all at him. And there actually is Bakugo. Bakugo does watch as one of Deku's arms, they're letting off explosions. And that, it does concrete in Bakugo's mind exactly who he is. He was right. Now, some pros do step forwards. And now after Mizuki, she actually is trying to explain to All Might what's going on, there actually where a shot rings out. And Deku, he does stand there as he does immediately go to Doki turn his body into concrete. Now, Deku feels a bullet ricochet right off of his head. And now he does Doki turn and look back towards where that came from. As Deku he does turn back to normal, there actually is where Deku he does immediately look at Mr. Snipe. Him bringing up one of his arms as it does turn into Lady Nagant's rifle. And the moment the man sees that scope, he sees that arm move the way it does, he knows whose quirk that is. And the fact that he has it, it's an issue. Now, pros go diving for cover, as right now Deku does fire a shot that rings out. And people who watch as that pro hero, he's immediately shot directly in the chest. Now, Deku, he was angry. And right now, All Might is standing there watching Deku. As Deku's face does look distressed, concerned. And right now, Deku is going to step forwards. As he does shout, he didn't mean it. Now, All Might does look back towards Mizuki. And Mizuki does try to tell All Might again. Right now, Izuku has the power of power absorption. He can absorb any material or quirk. Izuku isn't involved in whoever the hell All for One is. The hero community took and abducted him, Ochako, and her, Mizuki. Now, she does immediately tell All Might all three of their real names. Before she has Drukio to turn and tell Ochako, they need to get the hell out of here. Now, Mizuki immediately runs over to Deku, as Ochako does so as well. And right now the pros, they do try to come in. They're trying to understand what the hell to do. And All Might, he's still standing there. And Mizuki does go to turn and give the order to All Might. Do not kill the pros, but distract them for 5 minutes. Now, All Might's eyes immediately go blank, as he has Doki turn and blitz into the pros. Him beginning the process of taking them down without, well, hurting them. However, there's the thing that Mizuki said. Don't kill them. However, rocking their shit is currently his option. Now, All Might rushes towards the pros, as Mizuki does rush forwards and grab onto Deku. Deku looking towards her as she does immediately tell him, whatever the hell he just did, he needs to get the hell out of here. They all need to go. She told All Might, and All Might, he may not believe them. But there's more to this. Whatever the hell the villains did, they did it weird. They were able to do what Deku can do, but they put quirks into somebody. And she does think that it has something to do with this guy called All for One. Now, 2 of Deku's massive arms immediately wrap around these 2. And Deku, he does go to look up before going to, with his leg, bend down and slightly jump off. However, Deku's jump was amplified by One for All. And Deku, yeah. With shock absorption and the Nomu's super strength, Deku immediately blasts off upwards into the sky, shaking the entire arena, as the 3 are flying through the air at high speeds. And Deku's trying to think about what to do. Did he just kill a pro? He shot him, right? He shot him. No. He killed a pro. He killed a pro. No. That's not what he's supposed to do. That's not what he's supposed to do. Now, there actually is outside the city. where by the time All Might came to, the pros were all laid out. While many of them were still in fighting condition, the moment All Might snapped out of it and dropped the pro he was holding on to, many people asked if he was okay. And All Might, he did try to tell him that he was fine. However, he still confuses to a lot of things. Now, with that being said, there currently is back over Deku. Deku, he's currently sitting down in a warehouse. And right now, after Deku he does sit there actually is Mizuki, who does look at him. And Deku is staring down at his own body. So many different quirks are flowing around in him. He can feel them. How many quirks does he have? 100? 200? 3? 400? He's getting confused. These powers, there's too many. There's too damn many in here. Now, Deku currently is clutching at his head. And right now he's trying to think. All Might's power. This all started with All Might's quirk. He can feel his body changing. This feeling he does have in his head. It's not going away. This power. And then there's a voice. Calm down. Deku looking around. There's no one here. Now, Deku just hear it again. Stay calm. Take a breath. Now, Deku, he doesn't know who that was. But right now he just try to focus. Him bring his hands up and taking a deep breath. As right now there actually is Mizuki. Mizuki, she does come walking into the room. And right now there actually is Deku. Deku, he shrunk down. He's well, tiny. But he's smaller. Is he okay? Her stepping forwards. And right after bending down, she's going to grab out towards Deku. And Deku, he is going to bring up his hand and grab onto her. Him, with a open palm, stopping her from reaching for him. As right now Deku, he does actually feel her fingers lock in his. And Deku, he does tell her, don't. Are you okay? I'm trying to focus. Voice, head. Fuzzy, not right. Izuku, look at me. Deku looking up. And right now he does stir up towards her. She's concerned. Izuku, are you okay? No. Too much. Too many. Izuku, calm down, okay? Listen. It'll pass, okay? Don't panic. You didn't absorb those quirks. You're just copying them. In a few hours, you'll be fine. Now, Deku, he does at least focus on that. He'll be fine once this works its way out of his system. And right now Deku, he actually stared back up towards her. As right now Deku, he actually focused on his fingers. Right now Mizuki, she's lucky. As Deku just pulled back his hand, trying to think. He almost connected his fifth finger. He would have the quirk of that villain. It could have. Now, Deku, he does tell her, as he's somewhat going to bring his hands down and put them on the ground, that it's not safe for her to be around him. Deku's shifting his body. And right now she does actually watches Deku, his arms do disappear. Deku, he knows that touching anything right now, it's not safe. He can't risk that. She almost... Izuku. Deku looking back up. And right now she actually is going to lean forwards and kiss Deku. And Deku, he does try to focus on the sensation. He's calming down a bit, but right after she does pull back, she's trying to tell him. Her bring her forehead to his. Focus on her voice. And stay calm. Deku answering her. And right now Deku, he's put into a bit of a trance. Now, Mizuki just tell Deku, stay unconscious for a few hours. And afterwards, she'll get him. Now, Deku immediately falls unconscious, and right now Mizuki, she's worried, harboring her hands up and thinking, as right now there actually is over with the League of Villains. Shigaraki, he knew what to expect, but that shit? No way. That was not what he signed up for. That was not what he was told was going to happen today. That is not possible. And right now, All For One, he does hear about it. They went there to attack All Might and abduct people. And right now, they just learned something very, very good, bad, interesting. Interesting is the correct word. Apparently, somebody at the USJ absorbed the powers of the Nomu, absorbed the powers of Shigaraki. And from what Shigaraki could tell, whenever he ran with his tail between his legs, the kid, he wanted to destroy the Hero Association. That is good. However, there's something bad about that. The kid can copy abilities, and from what Shigaraki saw whenever he was running, the kid has no limit. I mean, it's so bizarre. Hyper regeneration, or, well, that's a good name for the ability. Super strength and shock absorption. Deku could absorb those powers and use them as his own. He absorbed, well, Shigaraki's power and used it the same way. If he gets a hand on All For One, he could use his powers. But then All For One just think, Deku's powers, they might be just like his own. And from what he's hearing, Deku, he used another quirk. One that shouldn't have been in his skill set. Some sort of acid ability. So, what does that mean? Does that mean that this kid has multiple quirks as well? Or does he have a power similar to his own? This is an interesting development. There actually is over with the heroes. The heroes, they are currently dealing with another situation. Their situation is quite simple. The villains fell from the sky. A lot of people died. Their students, however, some of them are okay. Others, while they are injured, they've done significantly better. I mean, they could have had things worse. Right now, a lot of people are more concerned with the fact that a student apparently has the ability to copy powers. And All Might, he is confused as to who exactly Izuku Midoriya, Ochako Uraraka, and exactly who, well, Mizuki Shinso is. Right now, those three names are the ones that were given to All Might. And she even said, the Hero Association, the committee, kidnapped them as children. And if he does try to confront them with this information, they'll deny it. They have seen how bad Hero Society can truly be. And All Might was surprised. This girl's claiming that they were kidnapped by the Hero Association. And well, fact of the matter is, Deku shot a pro hero. A pro hero who was innocent. Deku killed a pro with a rifle ability. And the fact is, the chairman for the Hero Committee, yeah, he was found shot dead a few days ago. That man, yesterday, died. Not a few days ago, Jesus. Now, right now, All Might has a lot going through his mind. And whenever All Might, he actually talked to Aizawa about this, Aizawa was somewhat confused. Because on the first day of school, Bakugo Katsuki called this kid Izuku Midoriya. So right now, they want to go to him for answers. Now, Deku, yeah. Right now, whenever Bakugo does go to Deku, or Bakugo he does get... No, wait. Right now, whenever the pros do go to Bakugo to try and find answers about Deku, they are confused. Bakugo tries to tell him, or tell them, the last thing he really does remember about Izuku Midoriya was over 10 years ago, whenever he made the claims that he was going into a hero program. The Hero Association set him up in a program to become a pro later on in life. And that kind of doesn't help connect the dots too much. Mizuki made the claim that the Hero Association kidnapped them as children, but Bako, he's making the claim that they were put into a program. So what does that exactly mean? Well, first of all, it means that something shady is going on. And these three, they battled off against the villains to save people. I mean, yes, one hero lost his life, but he shot Izuku first. And Izuku, he just reacted out of anger, out of fear, out of just pure instinct? No one really does know. However, fact is, if Izuku Midoriya somehow copied One for All, if he had this ability to copy powers, what exactly does that mean for him? And All Might, he's concerned. Izuku Midoriya right now might be, from what he does understand, either a vessel for All for One, a clone, a copy, someone who has abilities similar to him, or from his understanding, possibly related to him. And right now that does raise tons of questions for All Might. Tons of questions for All Might. I need to slow down. Now, All Might, yeah. Right now all the information he does have to pull from, whenever he does have it all sitting in front of him, he's confused. Trying to figure out what to do with it. Because, yeah. Okay, so the Hero Committee chairman kidnapped children to turn them into pro heroes. Sometime along the way, they got free and the chairman was murdered. And then that leads them to here today, where they find out that Izuku Midori was involved in the program. And then, what exactly happened after all this? Now, we actually do cut to Deku. Currently a few hours later. Deku currently, he's sitting up against a wall and trying to think. He's confused. He's scared. All these powers in his mind, and, well, all these quirks that were running through him. He feels some of them go away. He feels some of them stay. Some of them, well, they're cataloged in the back, you could say. They just sit there, waiting for Deku to pull and call upon them. And then there actually is the abilities of that thing Deku shot. The abilities of the Nomu. Deku, he does feel it. He feels his power. The immense strength. The immense, well, ability of it. The Hero Committee kept him away from regeneration. But he feels good. And that's concerning to him. Deku absorbed more abilities than he has ever absorbed before. And whatever the hell happened to him, what was that? He just mutated just rapidly. And Deku, he's more concerned with that. However, there is whenever somebody else comes walking into the room, and Deku does look up towards them. Him immediately camouflaging his body, as there actually is Mizuki. She walks up directly towards him. She knows where he's sitting down. And Deku, whenever he does someone going to turn after she sat down, she does get Deku bring her hands up. Her wrapping them around him, and pulling Deku into a hug. Her telling him that it's not his fault. He lost it because of that thing. Those powers, those abilities. And, well, she's sad to tell him he killed that pro. He killed that pro hero, and she doesn't blame him for it. He shot him first. Deku just reacted. Now, Deku does bring his hands up. Him wrapping them around her and staying quiet. Right now, Deku doesn't know what to say. He doesn't know what to do. He felt so focused down there. So calm. He killed villains. He felt good doing it. He felt a sense of power, and then taking on all those quirks at the same time. He got drunk on power, and that, it alarmed him. Deku, he didn't focus on anything. He focused on powers. That was it. Gaining more, wanting more, craving more. And, well, that was the only thing on his mind. He wanted to climb to the top. He wanted to be above everyone. And, well, right now that's terrifying to him. He likes the idea, having all this power. But then whenever he's like this, now, with a clear head, the idea of having power is good, but having too much, that makes him just as bad as those monsters. The monsters who did this to them. Now, they could just lay there quietly, and right now Mizuki should just sit there with Deku, trying to help him calm down. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.